Welcome back to another episode of The Get Up Girl. My guest today is Lesslie Lopez. She and I met, last year when the pandemic started, and then I was on a call that I spoke on with one of our mutual friends from Arizona. Yeah, shout out because you're from Arizona. Yeah, and so we met each other that way, and through Instagram we became friends. And I had you on my Instagram show a couple times. And so thank you for being here. I'm really excited, to see what's going to happen with this chat today.
Thank you for having me again. And I'm super excited to just be here and be honest and real about everything.
Yeah, as I've been having so much different than you, but such like a PTSD trauma after this whole year. And you lost your husband almost a year ago, right?
Yeah.
What was the day that he passed last year due to COVID?
Correct. So he passed June 25th. So in a month, it's
In
going to
1 month,
be,
it'll be 1 year.
yeah.
Yeah. When's his birthday? When his birthday came up, was that difficult for you as well?
It was really difficult because his birthday is June 22nd and he
Oh,
passed three
very
days
close.
after his birthday.
That's right. I think I remember all the stuff on social media where you were showing his birthday and then he passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I do want to share, light into, that side of we're all going through maybe the pandemic in a whole other way, right? Maybe losses of businesses or jobs or things of that nature or our lives. And then you have the loss of your beloved husband. So I would really like to share that story because even I want to be completely like raw. I could feel it right now having this conversation. It's like half excitement to talk to you and like share this and like half like I'm scared. So the question I want to ask is when he got COVID, how many days after, did he pass? And then like what were your last moments with him?
Uh, okay. So we got sick on June 5th. He started getting sick around June 3rd, actually. He had the sniffles, nothing to worry about. June 4th, we took a little trip to take Riley out because she had been in the house for a few months now, and
Mhm.
we wanted
Your
to get her
daughter.
out of the house.
Yeah.
With the whole
Mhm.
pandemic, it was just really hard for her. So June 5th, or June 4th, sorry, we went to Sedona. We had like a day trip kind of thing.
Yeah.
Went out to nature, and he wasn't feeling that good anymore by that day. And he was like, "Hey, I haven't had any fevers or anything, but my body is very tired." Um, June 5th, we came back, and by the time we came back that night, he had already had his first fever.
Mhm.
Um, that was a Friday. And then by Saturday, I was starting to feel sick too, as well. And then Riley, right after the same day, she wasn't feeling too good. So we decided to quarantine at that point.
And you didn't get
And
tested at that time, Lesslie?
we got tested the following Monday because during that time to get tested it was like a wait and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we
Mhm.
couldn't find a place where we could get tested right away, so we had to wait till Monday, which is when he got tested. And no, actually, sorry, I got tested Monday, he got tested Tuesday, but he got his results back before me. He got his results back like I think Wednesday or Thursday of that week,
Mhm.
and his were positive. So I contacted our doctor and let her know what was going on. And she said, "You know what? If you guys are all having the same symptoms, just consider you guys all with COVID at
Yeah.
that point." So we have a pretty large house. It's 4 bedrooms. So all the kids stayed in their rooms. At that point, we had 4 kids here, but Riley was staying with me in my room, and the other 3 kids stayed in their room. And at that point, no one left the house. So we were actually quarantined for a whole month in the house,
Mm.
um, which we were sick for 3 weeks straight.
Did
Starting
all
from,
your other kids as well, Lesslie, get
yes,
COVID as well? Yeah.
everyone got
Every
COVID.
single person.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone in this house got COVID. It was different for everyone. Um, so Basilia, like I said, started feeling sick June 3rd. and everyone else kind of just, it was kind of like the domino effect where everyone just kind of started falling down. And my son, the 18-year-old, well, he just turned 18, he didn't get sick until 2 weeks after
Oh,
everyone was sick. So
okay.
at that point when he started getting sick, we were kind of feeling a little bit better. But I mean, it was being, just remembering how sick I was that day, like it just gives me anxiety, because there was a day where I was so sick that I literally felt like I was dying. Like I couldn't get up from bed. My son, he wasn't sick yet, so he's the one who would bring, food to us, or he would bring wet cloths for us so we can
Mhm.
bring down the fevers.
Yeah.
Um, and I have this really guilt, because for me as a mom, as a wife, like I felt like I had to take care of everyone, and not even being able to get up from bed was so hard.
Mm.
Um, so I was taking care of myself and Riley, who was next to me, who was also running fevers, and then um, Basilio was really sick in the living room, and I kept like anytime I would go to the bathroom, I would be like, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need anything?" He's like, "No, no, no, I'm fine. You go to bed, lay down, and stuff like that." But on June 14th, he was just done. I had noticed like 2 or 3 days before that, June 14th, that he wasn't doing well and he wasn't eating much. And I told him, I you should go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital. You don't look well. And I think he was just really scared. He was just really scared that he wasn't going to come out or he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
So that's why he didn't want to go to the hospital. And he was like, no, I'm going to be okay. Let's just give it a few more days. I'm now able to breathe a little bit. I mean, sorry, I'm not having fevers anymore, but I'm still having a hard time breathing. So that was kind of like where he was at. And then finally, on on June 14th, I woke up like around 4 in the morning, and I came to see him, and he was like, I can't breathe anymore.
Mm.
I've been up all night and I cannot breathe anymore. So I told him, okay, I'll take you to the hospital. He said, but you're still running a fever. I said, I don't care.
Yeah.
All I need to do is drop you off. Like, let me put some clothes on. And I was in pajamas, so I put some clothes on quickly. I rushed him to the hospital, and I left him there. And I never thought that that was the last day that I would see him. So it was really hard because I didn't even say goodbye. I just told him, hey, as soon as you're done, let me know what they say, and then I'll come pick you up whenever you're good. And he's
Mm.
like, okay. So that was the last time I saw him. Um, no hugs, no kisses, nothing. It was just like, I'll see you later, and then I never saw him again. Um, on June 21st, that's when they put him in the ICU. He wasn't getting better. His breathing kept on deteriorating. And on June 21st, they put him in the ICU. The doctor was like, we need to get him into the ICU. He's not doing too well. So it was a hard decision because I mean he was still conscious and he didn't want to go. He didn't want to be in the ICU, but the doctor spoke to me. I had a lot of help from one of my aunts who was helping me during the whole process. We were on a three-way call, and she said, "You know what? This is going to be the best for him. He really needs it." So I said, "Okay, let's get him to the ICU, the intensive care unit," um, and then they intubated him. At that point,
Mm.
he was very nervous,
Yeah.
but he needed that extra oxygen. So June 22nd was his birthday. One of the nurses there was really, really nice, and his phone had died, and he had forgotten his charger here. So we got him a charger. The phone was charged, but I had no idea of his password, so we couldn't use his phone. And she called from her phone so we can FaceTime him
Oh,
and just say happy
okay.
birthday and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So we got to say happy birthday. That was the first day that he was a little bit conscience, and so he actually kind of like nodded his head. We were talking to him, and I remember telling him, I was like, when you get out, I'm gonna take you out for a beer, because he loved
Mhm.
beer. I
Mhm.
said, as soon as you get out, I'm gonna take you out for a beer for your birthday. And he nodded and he said yes.
Mm.
And and then we kind of just told him we loved him and to keep fighting. And then um, June 24th came, and the doctor that day said, well, I do see a little progress, but I don't want you to get so excited because it's not much. I'm going to tell you something that's going to be really hard, but sometimes before they pass, you see progress and then they pass. And that was kind of hard to hear because I'm like, how does someone get better before they get worse, or before they die?
Interesting.
And then June 25th came, and that morning I called, and the nurses were really busy. So when they gave me a call back around 10 in the morning, the doctor talked to me, and he was like, I need to let you know, and you need to be ready because I don't think he's going to make it through the day. And I remember hearing those words, sitting at this desk, hearing those words, and I was just in shock. I couldn't believe it. Sorry. And he said, I don't think he'll make it through the day. You have a few hours. We need to figure out what we're going to do. And then we started talking about resuscitation. And he explained everything about that and what, the pros and the cons. So we decided that we weren't going to do it. I spoke to his mom and the kids, and we all decided that we weren't going to do it because it could cause a lot of damage to his body. And knowing Basilio, and if he would have survived and wouldn't have been, okay, 100%, he would have been miserable, and I didn't want that for him. So I called again around noon. No, I called her again around 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock to see how he was doing. And that's when I was told that he was an hour away from dying. And I just kind of lost it at that point and didn't know what to do. The doctors wouldn't let me go to the hospital because I had COVID, even though we had already tested negative and we had the antibodies. They didn't let me go to the hospital and say goodbye. So I asked if his mom could go, and they said yes. So she went, but by the time she got there, he had just passed away. So, which kind of, I mean, she wasn't going to be able to touch him anyways because they weren't letting anyone, get close to the bodies. So it just kind of really sucked how it all happened. But I mean, never in a million years would have ever thought that when I dropped him off that day, that was going to be the last time I would, see him. Never thought that I would just I mean, I don't know. I think when you lose someone in different ways, I think it's shocking, or you can be prepared a little bit. But this one, I was not prepared for it. And it just, I don't know. It just swept me off my feet, in a bad way.
Yeah. When you found out, I think you said on the 24th, were you able to call again and do a FaceTime, or was the last one on his birthday the last time?
The last time was on his birthday. We did try to do another one. Honestly, I can't remember if we did another one or not. All that moments were very, blurry. Yeah. I can't remember if we did do another one or not, but from what I remember, the 22nd was the only one we did. And I want to say we were trying to, but we didn't get to.
Yeah. The closest thing, I mean, gosh, I couldn't even imagine a husband, was my mom passing away. And again, it was very, like, the last text she sent me was like an I love you. And I didn't even write I love you back. Like, all these things, you're like, gosh, this is how I treated people. Or I just thought, like, wow, and releasing that from my life, and feeling like, gosh, I wish I would have text back and said I love you. For myself, I was in such shock, until it hit me much later. It took me maybe 1 to 2 to 3 years to kind of get myself back. Like, I was a zombie, probably, at least. And I was actually okay. I mean, is what you can think of okay. But I was a zombie. Like, I wasn't fully there. And so asking you now after a year, do you think that you're there? And I wonder, to all the women or anybody who has lost a spouse, that's like a different love than like a mother's love. Yeah. Do you feel any different, Lesslie, after a year? Like you're looking back and going, man, or are you still kind of in the fog?
Um, that's a good question, actually. And let me just say something really quickly. You pointed out that the last text your mom sent you was "I love you" and you didn't respond.
Oh, you went silent, hun. I can't hear you. Oh,
Uh,
okay, you're back.
oh, sorry.
Okay.
The last text that I received from him was "Help me," and that was just like so haunting. Like that text just like really set me back in many different ways because I was so helpless I couldn't help him. And I mean, I think I was helping him, making the best decisions I could for him, but I mean, that's just something that I can't go back and be like, God, I wish it would have been like an "I love you" or something.
Hmm. Was
Um,
he in the hospital at that point, or did he text you that at home?
that was the last text I got before he went into the ICU when they told him that he needed to go to the ICU.
Okay. Hmm.
So, going back to your question, it's been really hard. I found myself knowing that, life continues and that I need to be strong and I need to keep going. But then I've also found myself depressed and scared. And like people keep asking me, "Are you going to go back to work?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. I mean, I have to go back to work." But then I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like sometimes, like I'm going to be honest, like sometimes it just feels like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know if I'm alive or not some days. Like it's just so weird because I find myself wanting to be okay, but then I'm set back by like feelings and like I want to be okay and I want to
Yeah.
keep going, but then I don't know how to, and I've never had this. Like it's so weird because I've always been a go-getter. I've always been like so resilient and stuff, and then like the last few months I'm just like, God, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
Girl, I am so there with you. I mean, our lives are different, yet I get that, like, who am I? I don't know. What am I doing? I look in the mirror. Leslie, do you have this? And I'm like, who are you? I feel like I'm
Yeah,
a whole new person going, I have no clue. I thought I knew who I was.
yeah,
March 2020, I was like, let's go. Now I'm looking back going, who am I?
yeah.
And I'm like, what a gift that I can rebuild myself, but it doesn't feel like a gift right now.
Correct. I totally feel you. I mean, I've had like conversations with myself and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't even know. I like the other day I realized that I wasn't eating every single day. And I was like, oh geez, I was like, you need to take care of yourself, you
Mm.
still have to be okay. So it's just little things that you find yourself doing that you don't even pay attention to.
Do you find that the things that used to make you happy, maybe hobbies or music, are not as quite the same anymore?
Yes. Yeah. I
Give some
mean,
examples.
so I used to love journaling. I haven't done that in forever.
Mm.
And I did try journaling after he passed away, but I found myself like crying every single time instead of, you know, I don't know, like when I used to journal, it felt really good because I felt like I was releasing. And then when I started doing it again after he passed away, it felt like I was just like putting myself in more pain.
Like going deeper, like just swimming in it. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things. Just taking time to myself was something that I enjoyed and loved being alone. And right now, recently, I haven't been able to do that because I just feel that when I am alone, I feel like I'm trapped. I feel like I'm like drowning myself in many, many different things going through my head. So being alone is not such a good thing for me right now. So I try not to. I keep myself busy just because I don't want to be alone. And that's something that I never had before. Like I mean being alone was so good for me. Like it was so healing and right now it just feels like scary.
Wow. I got chills because that's the awareness I just got for myself right now. Thank you. I love being alone. I mean, I'm an introvert. I live alone. And what I realized lately, just right now, I realized that I actually don't want to be alone right now.
Yeah.
Right now, it's actually helping me when I'm with others. I'm talking to other people. They're texting me. I'm with other people. When I'm not, that's not normally my default. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, when like
That's
somebody's around me,
exactly
I'm
how.
like, don't leave. Yeah, don't leave. It's that kind of feeling. Don't leave me. Like, I'll see you tomorrow, but don't leave me.
Yes, definitely.
Wow. What's some other things, Leslie, anybody listening that has lost somebody and, or I've had people ask me, like, you know what, my mom's sick. She's about to pass. Do you have any advice or things that, that I can do because I'm afraid to lose her? And what did you do? So somebody that's listening, what are you doing to get back up? I mean, you shared some things, but other things that you're doing, or for other people that are listening that are like, maybe they lost something else, like a business, and they're having grief. Like I'm having grief right now for my business later. So what are some things that you're doing, hun?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I thought I was doing the right thing to try to, pass this like time in my life. And so some of the things that I've been doing is surrounding myself with, people that care about me, surrounding myself with uh, positive people, my children, staying close to them, family, just being close to them as well. I'm just trying to enjoy what I have now because I've noticed that before I didn't enjoy it as much just because I was always on the go. So I've kind of slowed down instead of
Yeah.
going. So I've slowed down a little bit, paused, and I've just given myself grace because before, if I would take a day off, I would like hate myself for that and be like, oh, I just wasted a day. I could have
Yeah.
done something, more
Yeah.
productive. But right now, the way I've been feeling is the total opposite. So just taking the time to slow down has helped a lot. I honestly I haven't done much just because I can't find myself to figure out what is next.
Yes. Touche. I've been really trying, I'm going to say trying to fall in love with doing nothing, like literally doing nothing and going minute by minute, day by day. What do I want to choose right now? What feels very light right now? And I think I'm having a hard time with the I don't know what I want to do right now. I don't know what I want to do when I grow up kind of thing, and I feel like everybody's like, what are you going to do with your business? And you're like, I don't know. And what if, Leslie, we just don't know. Right now, I'm in a season, like it's like winter or spring, and I'm just like, I have no clue what I'm doing right now. And I'm just, whatever. Yeah, where is this? Like, we're supposed to know what we want to do. Who made up these rules? Yeah.
I
Yeah. Right now, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to take it day by day and I'm going to do just this much. That is such a different Joanna than in the past. I had to do
Yeah.
this much times a million. And that really defined who I am. And I know we hear that cliche often, I know we hear that. And it's for me, and I wonder for you and everybody else listening out there, it's the journey of falling in love with doing nothing. And I was just watching the movie Eat, Pray, Love. Did you ever see that, Leslie?
I just saw it for the first time actually like 2 months ago,
Really?
and I was just like, how
Yes.
did I never watch this movie?
Girl, yeah. And so I watched it again and I got a different perspective watching it again. And I remember when she's in Italy and the guys are talking about people in America, how it's always like go, go, go. And he said something in Italian. It's like a phrase of loving doing nothing, the art of doing nothing. So then she's practicing the art of doing nothing. I'm like, that's what it is right now, the art of doing nothing. I don't have to have all the answers. So for me, it's really finding that dance of, I have no clue. What's going on with your business? I don't know. We'll see. Ask me tomorrow. I have no freaking clue. Like, what do
I
you
know.
want to go back to work, Leslie? Sure, maybe, whatever. Ask me tomorrow. Right?
I know, and it's just so funny because they keep asking me like, are you going back to work? I'm like, well, obviously I have to go back to work. Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, I have like a million ideas right now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to be the breadwinner. So I have to like make a good decision on what's next. And so I don't want to like jump into one thing. And it's just like every time they ask me, I'm like, God, I feel like every time they ask me, I know less.
I know.
Like I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know, you guys are confusing me. Don't ask me again.
That's it, Lesslie. Every time I get asked the question, I know less. I feel dumber. I'm like, the more you ask me, it's not going to help me. I have no freaking clue. And then I've just been crying so much lately. Yeah. And I've been really wanting to share my stories more because I feel like the more I'm sharing my stories, people are like, oh my gosh, I feel it too. Yes, I thought I was the only one. I see everybody on Instagram and everything's wonderful. And I'm like, is everything really wonderful? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, oh, everybody, there's no pandemic. It's just wonderful and we're all fine. I call BS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously.
But yet not to go down the rabbit hole because I don't want to focus on it, make it bigger. I totally get that. And it's like, okay, how can we just talk about it and go, yeah, that sucks. Okay, how do we change it? Right? Like, how do we, yeah, this sucks. You and I just talking, going, yep, this sucks. Rather,
It
it's all
totally
good.
does.
Leslie, where do you want to work? You could do it, hon. And you're like, shut up. I'm going to throat punch you. You know what I mean? Like, he's in a better place. No, he should be here with me. Shut up. You know what I mean?
Damn it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to ask you like a really fun question because
Okay.
I know with me, when I lost my mom, like we just changed the relationship, meaning like I have a new relationship with her. She's just not there. I mean, she's there, but I just can't see her. How about that? And so I still talk to her and I'll laugh and I'm like, hey, mom, what's up? Or I'll see butterflies or feathers and I'm like, hi. And it's interesting that I'll think about something and then I'll get a little butterfly and I'm like, oh, that's her going, I'm here. Come on. Do you have a new relationship with your husband? Like, Encilio, right? I'm saying it right?
Basilio.
But ba with a B?
Yeah.
Basilio. Yeah, so pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, Basilio. Do you have a new relationship with him? Do you talk to him often? Like I'm curious. Like, what does that look like?
I do. And I cuss him out a lot.
Yeah. Jerk, why'd you leave me? Right? Yeah.
Right? I was literally just talking to his cousin. We're like, when we both die and go to heaven, we're gonna beat the crap out of him for leaving us soon. But yeah, I do have like a new relationship. I'm gonna tell you that like it's just like more funny now because I just like I'm like, oh man, if you were here, I would cuss you out so much. And I just start going off and I'm like, oh, okay, that helps. Like it helps to just let you know how mad I am at you for leaving me.
Yes.
But yeah, I do talk to him more. I mean, I always talk to him, but I find myself talking to him and saying, oh man, you're crazy. He's not going to listen to you. But I mean, I want to think that he does listen, you know?
Uh-huh. Do you ever get a feeling, or I'm going to say, quote unquote, signs or anything that you know it's him? Like a song will come on and you're like, yep, I know that's you.
Yeah, I do. I like recently, like I've been like, if I'm listening to the radio or I'm listening to my Pandora or something like that, and like a song that he dedicated to me comes on, I'm like, I haven't heard the song in like years.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
like this will not come out on Pandora. I know it's not in the rotation. Yeah,
exactly. And I was just telling his mom, I'm like, I don't believe in ghosts, but let me just tell you that his game room light comes on all the time out of nowhere. I don't know why. And she's like, no, you're lying. I'm like, I swear, I'm to the point where I would go and like check that the light was off.
Yeah.
And then later on, it's like on. And I'm like, kids, who left the light on? And because that's our pantry right now. And they're like, I didn't go to the pantry. I'm like, okay, well, thanks. It was nice knowing you're here.
That's awesome. I know that. Yeah, that at least for myself, and I wonder if anybody else out there knows that. My mom, she'll put on songs, and I'm like, I know this song doesn't come on this radio station.
Yeah.
They haven't played it in a gazillion years. Like this is not an. I know for sure. So I'm like, thanks for this. Thanks for the song, Mom. Like so many stories. I can go on and on. And I know that when I'm disconnected, Lesslie, from me, from my inner being, from my spirit. Like I know when I'm disconnected, I can't hear her.
Yeah.
But I know when I'm connected, like prayer, meditation, things like that, the more that I'm connected with myself, then I could communicate with her better. So it's that, like, I'm going to call it like a pinball, almost like I'm out and in, out and in. And I'm like, I'm wondering for myself, like, how long will it take for us as a world to feel okay again after this year?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think we've all been traumatized.
Yeah, I honestly feel like we all have a little PTSD from everything that happened. I find myself sometimes like being an extrovert, and I'm like, ooh, like I'm not like that. Like, what's going on? Like,
Mm.
but I think it's just me trying to figure things out. Like trying to like not be sheltered or and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel that it's gonna take time to heal for all of us, not just the ones who have actually lost people, but just everyone, because even for me, I know some people that have had like problems with depression and mental health, and being at home alone was not healthy for them. And I felt their pain in a different way, of course, but I felt their pain because for me as well, like being at home was always like, oh, I'm at home, like let's go out, let's go walk around or something. And I mean, for them, and it must have just been really crucial.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. I was so grateful that I met my boyfriend during last December, but it was very tough living alone. I'm like I told you, I'm pretty good at being alone, but this was like a different level of alone. This was, when you're in jail and they put you in solitary, it was like that.
Solitary. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
other than just being dark and solitary there, and having Netflix, I mean, it was very similar, and it was not fun yet. And then you had the other side of the parents that are like, I have homeschooled children, so you had both sides, right? So I can, only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lesslie, I'm so grateful for you sharing your story and your bravery, and every time I talk to you, I take a little piece of like courage. And I really hope people listening to this today as well take a piece of your courage, because, and I've said this, like, and I wonder, I don't want to put a label on it, but I wonder if the gift of this for you is, there's like this light coming out of you that's very attractive, and and I'm going to use the word vulnerability, or your honesty, or your choice to be you is, it draws like a moth to a flame, right? And so thank you so much for sharing that. And every time I talk to you, I feel really inspired.
That feels really good to know that, because I don't feel that way. But it feels good to know that, I do send out that vibe.
Yeah. And I know that feeling when you're like, I don't feel like that. Like yesterday, my boyfriend was like, you look so pretty. And I was like, I feel like the ugliest person. I'm like, thank you. But really? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm like, wow, I wonder if I could see myself the way he sees me.
Yeah.
Right. But this is the way I'm going to describe it. It's like the veil. No, not like a veil has come down. Right.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel it for myself too. The more I share my stories during this time, I'm like, another veil, another layer of myself, and like really cracking open.
Yeah.
Where before I was a performer.
Correct. Yes, I get you. I totally understand that.
Yeah. I was on stage, metaphorically, right, with the lights on, and now I'm backstage, and everybody's up. The camera's on me backstage. I'm like, this is what really happens, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Send love to your family.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to your son, 18. Yeah, and you know what? Back at the beginning when I was telling you, about I remember when you went to Sedona. That's what I remember on your Instagram stories. And I thought that was your husband's birthday. But yeah, that was really cool. But so cool to have spent that, together. Sending love to you and your family. Lesslie, thank you. Keep me posted on what's next for you when we grow up, right? What do we want to do?
When I decide to go back to work.
Yeah, we'll decide what the heck we're gonna do. We'll have another part 2. Everybody's like, what is she up to? Let's see. No, we're still just doing whatever we want. We're just still getting facials and hanging out.
just about. Drinking
Yes.
mimosas.
We're gonna win the lottery. Yeah, mimosas and win the lottery. Sounds good to me. Lesslie, love you. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for listening or watching. And remember to get back up. We're here for you. We hear you. We see you. Bye.
Thank you so much.